Hi guys, welcome to my Aries September 2019 energy reading. So this is for people who have sun, moon or rising in Aries, or potentially a stellium, or identify more with Aryan energy. This is basically going to be a snapshot of the energy for September 2019. I'm going to be posting all 12 signs and an individual video for each of those. So this is going to be the first video, obviously Aries. I was going to mix it up a bit, and then my guides wanted me to look at Aries first. So what I'll do is I'm going to tune into the sort of general energy around me, and then we're going to pull a few tarot cards to clarify the information that has come through, just to sort of compound the information really. So let's see what my guides are going to give me first of all here. Okay, so I mean, I suppose typically with Aries, we do get a kind of strong driving force here. The guides are talking about September being a time for pushing forward on certain projects, certain focuses that maybe you haven't had a chance to look at. They're saying they could be coming to the forefront. They're saying they're talking about a false start here. So if you've had a project that potentially you are looking to develop, looking to push forward on, and you feel like maybe the time isn't quite right, I feel like you need to listen to that warning or heed that insight, because there's going to be an additional insight to that will allow you to see more information before you do propel yourself forward. They're also talking about children here, so I don't know if the focus is on children. I don't know if maybe you reconnecting to your inner child or having that sense of enjoyment, but it kind of feels like it could be the latter, or maybe also for the people watching, it could be a little bit of both. But they're talking about try to maintain the sense of light-hearted fun in amongst this kind of month, because there's a risk here of things potentially being a little bit heavy or overwhelming when it comes to the sort of day-to-day work routine. They're talking about you maintaining your sense of fun and self-identity here. So if you've been putting a lot of energy into projects and you maybe haven't seen any kind of reward, then that could be the focal point. They're also talking about here about other people being in and around your energy that potentially could be giving an input into a situation that maybe is either one of two things. It's either not as it seems, or maybe they don't have enough insight and therefore they're giving you insight into the situation, and maybe that you need to take that with a pinch of salt. The other option could be that there's something around this energy that I don't know if it's a deliberate sense of distraction that is trying to deter you, or if it's a lack of awareness from that person's side that is giving you information that's potentially serving to detour you or detract or distract from where you need to be going. So take that with a pinch of salt. Obviously, if it doesn't resonate, don't take it. But they're just saying watch for influences, external influences. Watch for environmental influences such as friends, colleagues, co-workers. I don't know why I want to say that, but I'm focusing now on the colleague and co-worker side. They're just saying as well that I feel like you may even hear about a raise or now this might not be for everyone, but they're talking about a specific group of people here that may have an influx of money, and I feel like it is linked to the career. So if you're looking at potentially evolving or developing your career, or you're in a position and you're looking for that upgrade, I feel like there could be an opportunity around the middle of September where that will come into fruition. They're saying take tentative movements forward. So you don't, let's say you are starting a new project and you want to really kind of capitalize on that kind of energy and that sort of propelling forward. They're saying you can do that, but just don't go, sometimes when we're that focused, we kind of run in one direction and then we don't really look at what's going on around us. They're saying you can do that, but just make sure you're very aware of what's going on around you. There's a risk here of rushing too far off in the distance and not actually being very self-aware and having that grounded kind of awareness as and when you're meeting each of those goals or strategic pinpoints in your direction throughout September. So if you've got maybe a project that you're looking, there's maybe 10 parts to this, or it's a multi-aspected project, I wouldn't be rushing straight sort of through point 1 to 10. I'd be looking at going from 1 to 2, reevaluating, and then going to step 3, reevaluating, because they're talking about it's great to have that energy propel you forward, but don't allow it to rush you off too far ahead when you haven't taken heed of the environmental changes. They're also talking here about a potential house move. So it could be that Aries moon rising or sun sign is going to have a change in residence. And I feel like it could even link to the increase in money. So if you then do get that increase around the mid-September and you are also looking at moving, it could be that this is your cue almost to lay the foundations for that. Maybe sort of start looking into that, because I feel like you're going to get an opportunity to do that. Interesting. They're just saying it's what? Give me 2 seconds. Yeah, they're giving the same message. Just don't rush too far in advance or ahead before you're going to have to, or you may have to recalibrate certain parts of your plan based on the tentative movement from each step to step, because there's going to be other influences along the way that you are not going to accommodate for. And what they're saying is if you do rush off too far ahead, you won't take that into account, and then the plans that are pretty much, well, they look very positive plans that you're aiming for, but there's a risk of a dilution of that with these external energies that you haven't taken into account, or you aren't reevaluating as and when they come up. Someone also might not be great with listening to things, because they're just repeating the same information. You're saying, are you listening? Are you listening? It sounds like me. They're probably talking to me. Okay. They're also saying about capitalizing on that energy as well. I feel like there's a real strong emphasis on work ethic here, and it's something about a dynamic energy that puts root into carefully laid plans. So if this has been not just a couple of months in the making, these plans of yours, maybe this is a childhood dream. They're saying yes. Maybe this is something that you've really looked at, and then you're thinking, is it right to do it now? Should I be doing this now? They're saying yes. But again, take the advice from earlier where you're making a step-by-step breakdown and making sure that you're reevaluating and reviewing at each part, because there's something about the influences. It could even be a partnership that you're going to be interlinking in with this project, that they're just saying just be aware of. I don't know if there's an energy that maybe is going to promise that they're going to be working alongside you, and that maybe dip out or don't take as much responsibility, and it's leaving you having to carry more of a workload. But they're just saying keep an open mind, because what they don't want you to do is start in this project and get really involved and invested in it, and then have that news of that other partnership or person that's involved with this dip out, and then it totally floors your plans, and you have that sense of, they don't want you to be disheartened by the changes, because this is something that is meant to happen. They're talking about a childhood or a dream that someone is wanting to prepare and move forward in, and they're saying that there's a risk here that when this person does bow out or sort of step down, that you may take that to heart and want to stop the project. They're saying please be advised that, goodness me, they're a bit blunt with this. They're saying check your ego. Sorry about that. They're saying check your ego. This is not about the fact that the whole plan is faulty. This is about one element that potentially needs to be reworked and actually is doable, but just don't allow that to affect you in the negative sense. And actually what they're saying is long term, it's better off that they're not involved, because actually this is going to hold more ground in the long term, and you're definitely more likely to succeed with you rather than other influences and other people involved. So, and that's not to say that if you do take on a partnership and you know that they're all going to let you down. This is to say that the people that potentially have come in on this partnership or idea, or you're looking at doing that, you're not sure about them. Like, you've already had a gut instinct that, do I really want to be involving a long-term prospect with these people? Do I want to guarantee and secure a certain amount of time with the individuals that we've been looking at. So just take note of that. Just mull it over, just see how it sits with you. And if it is resonating, then I would be reevaluating at this point, specifically who is coming in, and also a breakdown of steps, a movement of parts. They're saying there's too many moving parts in this scenario with that individual involved that could cause foundations being built poorly, and they want solid foundations for this because it is going to be a long-standing prospect. I'm also seeing someone here that's juggling family with work life. It could be that you're also looking to expand your family and you're not entirely sure how you're going to do that. But it's got I feel like I want to say wait, because it's not, they're just saying it's not the right time. Whoever, if you're an Aries, if you've got a lot of planets in Aries, if you've sun, moon, rising, they're saying it could also be applicable to Venus in Aries as well, specifically with the love message and the kind of children. They're saying if that is for you, and you're going to know because they're saying this is something you've already thought through or thought about, don't try and make a round peg into a square hole fit, because there's going to be a time for that, and they're saying this might not be the right time. They're also saying that if you've been putting a lot of emphasis and ownership on the day-to-day routine, the workload, the more practical elements of life, can you please do me a favour and try and get some time for you? Because it's like I'm seeing a kind of bull in a china shop a little bit here, where the energy is very direct and very dynamic. And it's not just about a lack of acknowledgement of the environment or self-awareness. It's also about a neglect of the self in terms of self-care, in terms of... It's like I want to change my environment. I want to put myself in a position where I'm more at ease. And I don't know why I want to use those words. But they're saying that the person that this is for, or the people this is for, that will resonate. It's interesting because they're also talking now about behavior. Again, this is a lot to do with people around you, Aries. They're talking about an individual or a situation that has been particularly callous or cold. I don't know if someone's shut down or they aren't opening up to you, or it could be a relationship. They're talking specifically about this person. It's a callous behavior. So if you feel like you've been shut out of something, or haven't really had or been able to reconnect in a certain way based through your emotional needs, they're saying it's going to be different for everyone. But if that part resonates, it could be one of three things. They're saying try not to entertain discussion around that at this time. They're saying there's something around the partnership where this person is involved. Firstly, it doesn't occur to the person that they're being like that, but there's also something around the person that is an additional concern for them, and how they're reacting to that news is they're shutting down, and therefore they're also kind of restricting your access to them, or they're restricting their connection to you because it's a protective measure. They're saying yes. Could be one or two of you that scenario resonates with. The other element, sorry, I'm just going word for word here. The other element is they're talking as well about the fact that there's again, relating back to this callous individual, or how it is deemed as callous. This person is viewed from a certain perspective. It could be a cross-watcher. So maybe you're connected with an Aries and you're cross-watching this. Maybe you resonate with that and it's in relation to the Aries. Just had to put that one out there. But they're also saying that there is someone also involved in a relationship scenario here, and a family environment where there's way too many influences. There is way too many people involved. Too many people have got something to say about the scenario. There are way too many people that have something to say about this particular scenario. And there's an overwhelm going on here. And I feel like that maybe the two key individuals in this that this involves have actually shut down and they're off doing their own thing, and then everyone else that has been, I don't know why, but they're saying tittle-tattling, so I don't know if there's been people discussing this. I don't know. Way too much involvement. There's way too many people involved in a scenario here that doesn't concern them. And I don't think either party want to entertain this, and they're just kind of riding this wave. I feel like the feminine element in this is a lot more angry about the situation. I don't know who I'm picking up on here, but I feel like this could be one or two people. I feel like it's a very particular situation, but I feel like the feminine aspect of this is also really upset about the whole scenario, because I feel like her whole environment is just a chaotic mismatch of information. I don't even know if the information that's being passed in between these people is accurate. It just seems like there's way too many people involved, and the two individuals this is in relation to, that the man has kind of, or the masculine energy in this scenario is shutting down, and the feminine energy in this scenario is really angry. They're saying put some time and space between this. This is going to die down, but if you start interjecting at this point, it's going to be like lighting a match. So please give it some time. This will not continue forever. I feel like you've got maybe a week and a half to 2 weeks where this is going to start de-escalating, and it's like people are going to move on to the next big topic. I don't know why, but it's like, you know, acquaintances, friendship group. It feels a lot like family and friendship groups that are involved in this. And there's just two individuals here that are just kind of like, what on earth is going on? Like, why do I need to deal with this? You know, and I kind of get it, because it just seems a little bit unnecessary. They just keep saying, put root to carefully laid plans, put root to carefully laid plans. So if you've, going back to that idea or that concept or that career idea, make sure there's a real strong base for what you're building on. And there's a very defined plan of action, specifically with the more practical elements. So finances, the logistics, the day-to-day, because they want this to really be solid. It's like, you know, make sure that the roots of this project go very deep and are sustainable, because do you know what? Sometimes when I look at these readings and I just think, it's like I can see there's someone that's really focused on this project and this relationship and the previous sort of scenarios I've discussed, and it's everyone else that is like throwing their kind of insight and, you know, gut instinct into this, and I'm kind of viewing it and I'm like, but you're not right. Like, you know, the insight people are giving, I just don't feel like they're on the money with this. I feel like they're involved for being involved's sake, and this is all a little bit of a chaotic distraction. Just please don't. I know it's easier said than done, but if this is you've got to really focus now, because I feel like this is actually deliberate. It's a bit of a test for you. I feel like as a person that potentially is easily distracted, this is your way of showing and proving that you can really buckle down, and there doesn't need to be a start of a project or a strong start of a project that doesn't ever come to fruition. I feel like that spirit are kind of testing you guys out a little bit here, in the sense that, are you really wanting this? Again, it's like they're testing, do you want this? Because I feel like these other people are a little bit karmic influences, where they're kind of thrown into the mix deliberately to test to see if you've got the mettle to really stick to your guns. And don't be scared. Don't be scared. Don't review this or view this kind of influence or disruption as something is wrong with you, or oh, it's definitely not a good plan. No, this really, it feels like a test. Like, there's something very karmic about this, and the guides are also saying what goes around comes around, and this is not in a weird sense. It's like, I feel like this could also be an idea that you've actually looked at in the past, and you either stopped yourself from doing it, or something happened and it stopped you in your tracks, and then you dropped everything and thought, I'm not doing it. If you are that person and you are reviewing this again and thinking, maybe I should retry this again, yes, you should, but don't let distraction stop you. Sometimes distractions are good because it gives us a mirror to reflect back on what we need to be aware of. But I don't think this is it. I think this is actually a test to see if you are able to complete something to the full embodiment of what actually is needing to get to. Yeah, so I feel like that's kind of a bit of a snapshot that I want to say about that. But keep the focus. Keep the focus with that. Don't let anyone distract you. And I'm like, I really want to kind of, I feel like someone's actually been a little bit down about this. Yeah, look, Judgment. This is the realization. This is the wake-up call. This is the wake-up call. And then you've got also the Six of Swords. So this is a movement away from a scenario, or positive movement forward to another scenario here. Swords are about the mental plane. So it could be that you, I mean, look, no one's asking you to kind of go guns blazing to these people that are kind of causing this chaos. But it could be that you may need to lay some boundaries down here, because why should your project that you've been fighting for be people be up in arms about something unless it directly affects them? Why? Focus that Judgment energy and that Six of Swords energy and move away from that. Keep that focus. Judgment is very much about keeping that focus and then end what needs to end. Ten of Swords. Yeah, look, the Emperor. Look, that's Aries, okay? So this is very strong masculine energy, okay? This is also the card for Aries. So look how dynamic, empowered, very focused masculinity. So really positive forward movement. This is an energy that does not let people or things or anything really come in the way of what they need to be doing. This is a leader, okay? So really channel that leadership, and if you don't have the confidence to do that, use positive affirmations. I am in my own power. You know, maybe, I don't know, it depends on your kind of where your lack of confidence lies. Maybe there's a fear of failure going on here, because I've got the Death card here now. I feel like there's something a little bit karmic that's getting cleared out. So it could be that you really don't like putting yourself out there, and there could be something karmic in relation to a fear of failure. First of all, if you don't try, you will never know. And second of all, it's better to try and then learn from it than never to try and, you know, have that kind of guessing whether or not that would ever come to fruition. Yeah, look, Five of Swords. They're talking about potential disagreements here. I wouldn't even be entertaining those. I would just be focusing on what I need to be doing. Use that Emperor energy. There's also the Ten of Pentacles in reverse here. So they're talking about a potential family scenario where there's an imbalance or a lack of stability here. It could be that your partner's the one that's actually doing this, in which point I'd be looking at holding off making any severe decisions or, you know, permanent changes, but just stop and evaluate what is actually going on around you. What does this align with your future plans? Does this align with you and your beliefs and where you want to take your own life? Any final messages for Aries, please? Any final messages for Aries? Look, amazing. Look, the Star. This is Aquarius energy. This is like your hopes and your dreams, okay? So it's kind of compounding everything I'm saying. It's like, if you reach, and I'm going to use a cheesy one-liner now, so get ready. If you reach for the star, if you reach for, I'm not going to sing Jale, for goodness sake. I got that S Club 7 song, Reach for the Stars. I know that's really cheesy, and I have to apologise in advance for that, but it can be yours. You don't have to live in or within limitations. You don't have to always feel like, you know, the possibilities are outside of your grasp. You don't always have to feel like, oh, well, this is a great pipe dream, but this is never going to happen to me. Well, how do you know? The Star is something that is achievable. This is something that is actually within your grasp. This is a hope, a future dream realised. This could even be that you've really started to look at what your focus is in the future, and actually this is where you start kind of positive movement forward with that. But what an amazing card. Anyway, last card, guys. Final card for Aries, please. Final card. One last card for Aries. They're saying no more. They're saying we don't need to, the star was enough. They're saying heed the words. You'll know who this is for. If this doesn't resonate, don't you know, start kind of following this video from, you know, each step. If it's not kind of resonating with you, I think that's it. I don't think they've got any other messages, but I'm hoping that's helped. Please do like this video if it has. Leave a comment giving your sort of insight into it. Subscribe, share, click on the notification bell if you do want to receive you know, insight into when the next video is posted. I post from Monday to Friday. I'm hoping tomorrow I'm going to do Taurus, but I am a Taurian, so I've got to really ground for this one because I don't want to project onto the reading. So and I've got loads of planets in Taurus and Aries, so hence why I've taken a while to do this. But as I say, guys, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, it's much appreciated, and yes, speak tomorrow. Bye.